I'm telling you all right now, this is a series you do not want to miss out on. Easily one of my favorite series I've seen this year. And I'm telling you, once it's all said and done, everybody will be talking about it. Folks, let's get into my review of the new series, The Fall of the House of Usher. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Today, we're going to be reviewing the new series, The Fall of the House of Usher, coming to Netflix October 12th. There are 8 episodes. They're about an hour each, and I think the 8th episode is even longer than an hour. But in fact, from beginning to end, each episode, this entire season, this is fantastic. Easily one of my favorite series this year, and everybody will be talking about it. So let's get some preliminary stuff out the way really quick. So The Fall of the House of Usher is a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. So maybe you heard of it, maybe you haven't. I'm going to also tell you right now, because I did not read much Edgar Allan Poe, but I do know that all of the titles of each episodes are short stories from Edgar Allan Poe. And I think the biggest indication for me was probably one of the most famous in episode 8, The Raven. So I saw that, I said, I wonder if the other ones are. And I started to go back and look, and I said, they are. So yes. And also, if you don't know the stories, each episode will be a straight up indication, very foreshadowing of events to come in that episode. So there's a little bit of background story for you there. But listen, I'm telling you right now, this series is fantastic. From beginning to end, I just thoroughly enjoyed this. And this thing is just star-studded with cast members that really bring it. I mean, first of all, I just want to start off with Carla Gugino, who plays the character Werner, who easily is the best performance in this. And that's not to take away from anybody else, but I'm just going to tell you right now that Carla kills it from beginning to end. And this character Werner is one to keep your eyes on at all times. You also have Willa Fitzgerald, Henry Thomas, Mary McDonald, Mark Hamill, the GOAT, Bruce Greenwood, Tania Miller, who I just love, Ruth Codd. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And like, for all the folks I did not name, I'm telling you that this series is so good, everybody shines. And the way they even structure the episodes, it even truly allows folks to have moments to shine. And there is one main story, and it's not an anthology, but it's kind of built like an anthology, because there is one overall in story, and with that overall in story, you got these stories from the story, and basically it is about siblings Roderick and Madeline Usher, who built this pharmaceutical company, which gave them everything: wealth, privilege, and power. And with that, a lot of folks took note to that, but at the same time too, secrets started to come to light once some of their heirs to their Usher dynasty started to die. So let me put this into layman's terms, because that's briefly what the synopsis says. Roderick and Madeline built wealth, and everybody in their bloodline is good. They would never need for anything. And that started to bring the attention of some folks. You know, the fact that they would never be, they've never had any charges toward that. I mean, we're talking about big pharma. So they're definitely in the opioid game. And while folks continue to go after them for different lawsuits or whatever it may be, they've never ever been charged, and they basically just been untouchable. And so you have this guy Augie, who is working the case to really figure out what's going on with this family, but also bring down the kingpin himself in Roderick. And with that, he sets up an interview with Roderick, in which Roderick tells him the story about all the different things that started to happen with their bloodline, because as mysteriously members of their family start to die, things not only started to become mysterious, but things started to become a little bit supernatural and a lot of moments of head scratching. So I'm kind of dancing around things a little bit here, but let me just like again break this down to layman's term. Once it's all, and because there's a couple of different timelines here, but once you get into the current timeline, Roderick and this guy Augie, they're sitting there and Augie is recording him because he's basically getting his confession of everything that Roderick had been involved with over the years. Because again, this family has been untouchable and it all roots to the top of the chain in Roderick. And Roderick gives him the stories and the details about all of his kids, in which they're very untimely but yet tragic deaths. So each episode you get to witness exactly the rise and fall of their kids. So like you get to kind of see the kids' relationship with their dad, but also you get to see eventually how their kids are. So I'm going to tell you right now, right? It is brutal. It is brutal, yet the visuals are amazing. The production is just jaw-dropping. They really nail it on all accounts. And I'm going to tell you, and if I haven't already said this, it's been in my mind the entire time in this review. The last 10 minutes of each episode is like when you tell somebody to bring it home, when you say like, hey, let's wrap it up. Let's go out with a bang. Each last 10 minutes of each episode, they nail it. And the deeper you get into the season, the better they get. So I'm telling you right now that if you don't like to drive with your seatbelt on, fine. But when you get near those last 10 minutes, you better strap up because it gets wild. It's gory, it's creepy, it's chilling. And yes, there's a huge mystery factor in terms of everything that's happening with this family. But at the same time, too, they make sure that it's all resolved in a way that even if you miss minor details, by the time you get to the final episode, it all clears up here. But again, this Augie guy investigating and getting the stories from Roderick himself, because again, this family has been slipping through the cracks. You know, that's sort of like the top of the of everything that's happening with the series, and then everything else are the different branches from not only how Roderick and his sister Madeline got to get all the wealth that they got, but ultimately seeing them grow old, but also seeing like their kids and just how more kids came about and then grandkids. So like it gives you all of that, and it's truly this funeral after funeral, you know. But again, the supernatural element, there is absolutely like this grim reaper of death because everyone's losing their mind, and when they lose their mind, things get like intense here. So I'm going to say like the series is like sickly artistic. Like the way how they do things, you got to give them chef's kiss, because I just love how when you talk about like the brutality and you just think a bunch of blood, I just think it's just done in a way that just makes sense. And it also makes you like wonder more. So it just adds to the mystery. And then I just think like deaths are done in a very unique way. It almost gives me like OG Saw vibes when you start to see like devices and stuff and how folks were being tortured or killed. And you're just like, I've never seen anything like this. The kind of the ways that kind of did stuff with this was like really unique. And I wasn't rooting for anybody to die, but I just couldn't wait to see what they were going to pull out next. So like they really did in a very sickly artistic way, like nail it, you know. It's just not like anything I've seen in a while here. And again, because you're just on the edge of your seat, it's so much unpredictability. The atmospheric horror, this little reaper of death kind of going around, funeral after funeral, and then the investigation aspect that's happening after all these years of things happening. It's just wow. And like the presence of like this supernatural element that typically you think that the person that this demon or whatever is attaching to could only see, and the fact that others could see it really just heightens like the mystery aspect. Because like again, when you know like in horror movies when somebody's being attacked by a demon or something like that, it's only them can see it, but the fact that everyone can see it and they're like putting clues together, it just kind of gets like wow. Episode 6 has like one of the most sickest endings of all of them. I just gotta say that it's so tense over and over and over, and like tons of jump scares, and the end of the episode 6 is just something. Um, I will say that, like, when you think about some of the folks like Tania Miller, these folks are like veterans in this genre. Like Carla, coming from Hunting on Hill House, and Tania coming from Hunting on Bly Manor. Like, they're perfect, and like their performances are so damn good that alone should be worth the watch, minus the plot, just their performances. But like everything, they hit on every cylinder with this, truly. And then, like I mentioned, like the fact that Madeline and Roderick were like in the opioid business and big pharma, like there's that, and we all know how that plays a part. And like that does have like a really cool like full circle moment with a particular character, which I just love. But like the opioid stuff is definitely scary, because you typically folks who run big farm companies are ruthless. Hello, Roger, too. I don't care. Sell it, make us money. You know what I mean? Then when it comes down to the deaths, you're going to notice that in death scenes that there's like very different colors for each person's death. And it reminds me of like when M. Night Shyamalan was explaining about the different colors on glass, and why that's a different story in its own. I just think like the artistry to things, that these colors must mean something upon all these deaths, because each time somebody's getting ready to see their maker, they get it like a very vibrant color. So it's like purple or like blue, orange. So like pay attention to that. And again, I'm just going to just keep repeating this. Each episode, at the end of these episodes, they're just more brutal than the last. Those last 10 minutes of each episode are something else. And again, the title of each episode is a very big clue and very foreshadowing of potential things to come. And as I mentioned, the final episode will truly lay it all down for you and explain to you for any bit of uncertainty you may have. So let's just say that like the ending, beyond chilling, but ultimately they wrap this together fantastically. I could talk about this so much more, but of course this is my spoiler-free review. But the Fall of the House of Usher is truly one of the best series this year. You do not want to miss. I am blown that there can't be a season 2, or could they? I don't know. But as of right now, this looks like this is just a limited thing. I think it's even labeled as a limited thing. But I would love more of this. This was easily one of my favorites. This is easily one of the series that everybody is going to talk about. By all means, you do not want to miss. It is premiering on Netflix October 12th, all 8 episodes. Folks, once you check this out, get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it. Give me your predictions of things to come pretty early in the season before you binge it all. Like, let me know some of your predictions early, because again, you need to know like what is happening with this bloodline. How are these kids dying one after another, and will they actually take Roderick down? And what other secrets does Roderick have in his skeleton closet? Because this guy is far from a good person. There's that. But you will see. And I haven't even talked about Madeline. So what's up with Madeline? And the fact that they're brother and sisters, and they built their company together. Madeline has plans for sure, but they started this together. And what would be the case for her to go in a different direction from just continuing to be in Big Pharma? I don't know. They're all answered when you check it out. Jump in the comments, folks. Let me know your thoughts about this one. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.